Welcome to the Hard 180, where we are counting down the 100 most essential albums of the 1980s hair metal scene. Coming in at number 9 is a 1991 record from Skid Row's Slave to the Grind. And joining me to discuss this album, let's bring him in. I'm super sweet at this. Welcome to the program, Cobras and Fire, my co-host on Cobras and Fire, LC Fox. Welcome, LC.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm
no
doing pretty
problem.
good.
I try not to be too redundant, but I think I may have mentioned it at some point in the previous episodes, kind of getting up to this. But I'm not. I'm not sure. It's been a long journey putting this together. So if I've already said this, people, tough shit. This record is on the list. I specifically stretched it to 1991, so that this album was on here. I just don't think you can tell the story of this scene properly without including this record, and I have to believe right about now Slaughter's going, what the fuck then? I mean, because not one appearance, unless they actually think they might be ahead of this one. Spoiler alert, Slaughter is not in the... If they were there, they didn't make the cut. But right up there with Danko Jones, the Anthrax record, Sound of White Noise, and this album was really one of our early connections that we both had a really great passion of.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I appreciate you stretching it to the 91. Is there anybody else in the 91 chunk that's on the?
You know,
is that a?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think so. I did have the. Now I will tell you this. It's not out yet, but there's an episode where I go through all the producers, like how many albums this producer did,
Right.
but also labels and year. So it is definitely mentioned.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like this year had the most records, this had the least, that kind of thing. But and you know what? Look where it landed. This one, I mean, the fact that it's in the top 10, I think, kind of validates my kind of biased, reasoning.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that for me, this just came this summer is one of the greatest rock album releases. Actually, if you just looked at this, hey, listen, if you want to let me to go on and on about 1991, we're talking about Slave to the Grind today, but this year is just so many landmark albums came out. You could argue is some of the best releases of those bands' career. Right?
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't. And obviously, grunge is in the second half of the year too, and some
Yeah, I think
landmark
grunge
releases
really
there.
kicks off, in 92? I mean, I know Nirvana hits
Yep.
the end of 91, right?
And Pearl Jam.
Yeah, but
Those two drop.
the culture shift really was felt by early 92.
Agreed.
What other records are you talking about then from 91? Unless I
Well, I'm
just
gonna pull out a
ruined the
few
whole thing for her.
From no, I mean it's just like at this time in this summer we have a few months later we have Metallica's Black Album, Use Your Illusion, GNR's those drop, and God, No More Tears. You got Ozzy's album. I mean, I don't have the full list, but there's at least 10 bangers this year, and they just keep hitting. Like if you're just going to the record store and you're not picking up some subpar albums this year, is all I'm saying.
We should do an episode called Greatest Year in Rock and focus on 1991.
Like I said, I'm transitioning out. It's a great
Yeah.
year. It's
It really was. Yeah. No, I just, well, see, I already forgot that we did it. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's right.
That was an early banger for us, man.
That was.
Go back in the archives, people. I might even listen to that tonight now.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Before we get into the record here, I did want to ask you if you had any feedback, some gripes on the list up to this point. Maybe it's been so long, and I know how organized you are with things. You're listening along and you're going, where did I put that one? I have this. This is fleshed out in an upcoming episode. I laminated the list that I was, for the longest time, I was literally using a printout from 4 years ago. So I have the information in front of me. So
That's
you
good.
got
I
any?
always say that, by the way, I always say if it's laminated, it's important. Anytime you see that laminate cover layer on something, shit's for real. What you got?
Well, I was looking up your ranking for this one for a little bit later, but do you have any records that? Yeah, go for it. I'm not going to tell you right now, though.
That's fine. Right now, I'm just going to say I guess that I put this at probably number 2 or 3.
Okay, we'll check back and see how accurate. You want to pick one of those, or to actually have
I'll pick number 2.
Okay, fair enough. We'll get to the rankings at the end. Now, it's going to be a fun one because I just realized going through this, I do my normal prep and I put everything right in front of me so I have it. The one thing I didn't do, it's the last thing I put on here, is the rankings. So I'm going to have to squint and look at it. But I have the rankings in front of me, but I like to present it in a way. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, man. Well, so we know Skid Row, their debut record comes out in '89, and it blows up. You know, I think it's the number I saw was something. It sold about 5 million copies. They come back with this record. You got the same band, the same lineup, but a very, very different album.
Yeah, and for me, I think I remember Monkey Business coming out. I don't know their exact release, but I'm gonna say they dropped that thing maybe April. May. It seemed like it was out for quite a bit, leading up to the June 11th.
I'll see if it's on the Wikipedia release while you talk here.
Okay. But in general, when I first
May 1991.
Yeah, I think that the first time I heard it was seeing it on MTV, and the initial thing was, oh, okay, these guys are getting a little more raw, and I'm not going to go into the track itself right now, but just in general, like the look, I think that was the one where they're on a railroad track.
Yeah, the video's kind of cheesy in hindsight,
Sure.
even for the time. But yeah,
just really basic. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm.
and then I think that they dropped "Slave to the Grind" as a second single, which bizarre as a single before the album came out too. Because I think I heard that and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Because I think Enter Sandman, I think, was floating around at the time too, in my rusty memory, thinking like, "Oh my god, these guys almost out Metallica.
Yeah.
The rawness of that song. It was shocking. And I could just see the labels just being in general like, what the fuck did we just get served here? You know what I mean? Like, this ain't no I Remember You and all that. Like, they had to be a little like some pushback, I would assume. But they probably had so much equity or whatever, they could just say, fuck it. Let's do this. But I don't know. What were your thoughts initially with those two? Did you remember hearing both before the album came out or not?
I did not. No. Wilson and I were poor. We did not have cable television. I probably didn't see the video until Beavis and Butthead made fun of it. Honestly,
Was that Cage involved? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, something like that. Or he's crawling around the railroad track under the bridge or something. But yeah, and also I was, a college kid, and I really had to be selective. So Wilson bought the CD. I probably didn't get my copy till maybe a year after it was out, but I definitely heard it plenty. And in hindsight, I think it was, like when I was 15, I needed a song like Big Guns. That spoke tobacco. You know what I mean? Let's talk about large tittied women. Yeah. That's what I want to think about right now. But by the time this record comes out, I actually am kind of gravitating more towards, more serious, lyrics and topics. And they definitely made that shift with this. Plus, I have a love-hate relationship with the overall guitar sound on this record. It's actually fucking perfect for the album. Okay. But it's like I said, it's weird. I wouldn't change a damn thing about it, honestly. But it at times I'm like, God, what were they really going for here? Because it's a very dry sounding too. But it actually really complements Sebastian singing on it as you get through it. But yeah, this was right around the time that I'm getting ready to dump on hair metal for a good 5 years because I got to get me some grunge. I got to get Soundgarden. I need Alice in Chains. I need serious dark music, and not this kind of more fun party shit. So yeah, that was my general thoughts on it when I first heard it.
Sure. And I know we want to. Do we have a little bit more time before we jump on the track?
Yeah.
Okay. So also right around this time too, this album was almost like a pacifier for waiting for Use Your Illusion. I have to say that the Guns N' Roses and Skid Row to me were so tied together. Yes, they toured together too in May, that they just seemed perfect together. And this one was almost like, listen, I know you've been here and they've been dripping off singles for Use Your Illusion, but here, take this. It's in the beginning of summer. In September is when GNR comes out. And what I'll just say with this is I still do not understand how this is possible. And I don't remember why it happened because I was 17. It's a perfect target audience. But I had a job, worked at Ponderosa. doing. I had income as my point. I was
Yeah,
a senior
yeah.
in high school. There's no reason that on May 28th and May 29th of 1991 that I did not see GNR and Skid Row play
Oh, I
in
gotcha.
Noblesville. And yeah, one of my biggest regrets, because I'd gone to big shows. This would have been the biggest one ever.
And it would have been like $20, which,
Right.
I mean, even for the time, not a hurdle. You know what I mean?
Right. So there's no way that I wouldn't have not done it. But I'll tell you this too. I just want to let you know that of those 2 nights, here's the songs that just imagine. First off, did you see them at that?
No, and actually, if I could touch on a couple things you said there, I think the time frame is just way too close. I don't really relate to this. This was to help appease me while I waited for GNR. I waited
just for me.
we're counterpointing is all there. Because GNR was just a couple months after this, and we waited 4 years for GNR. And then not going to the show, money probably played a little bit into it, but it was also in Aspen's, Colorado. What's the fucking? I'm drawing a blank. It's an amphitheater that starts with an A, and it's in Wisconsin.
Alpine Valley.
Alpine Valley. So it was a bit of a haul, and I didn't have the most reliable car, but here was actually the biggest impediment because I had some friends that did go. They were playing almost only shit off of Use Your Illusion. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to see Guns N' Roses for 2 hours, I don't want to hear all these fucking songs live for the first time before I've ever had a chance to hear them the way they're recorded. So, yeah, I caught them on the next tour with Metallica.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that one too. But yeah, so on that end, and they were playing a strong 10-song set where half of it was coming off the new album that had not been released on that date. So if you went there, I remember people coming back to school and saying, "There's this new song they got called Get the Fuck Out." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out, really?" Mm-hmm. But they played. I just want to list the ones that they played previous because I just imagine being at the show. They played Slave, they played Riot Act, Monkey Business, Psycho Love, Get the Fuck Out, as I just said, and The Threat. So they dropped those songs pre-release of album. I think that's pretty heavy. That's a little. They knew they're kind of onto something. I don't know. I don't usually you drop 2 or 3 off your new album at most. But especially if it's not out.
Yeah, I think that's more the deal breaker for me. There is that I think if the album's out and you're a big fan, you should have it. And you would already be able to know and enjoy these songs.
Sure.
And real quick on the GNR leaking out their singles, they did it in a way that we're not really familiar with. With the way things are done now, they basically leaked out 4 or 5 songs on soundtracks. You know what I mean? And they just ended up throwing them on this. So
Sure.
A little different is all. Because I didn't know that. I didn't necessarily expect every one of those to be on the album. And they basically were.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly. So.
Well, Slave to the Grind is the second studio album by American heavy metal band Skid Row. Released on June 11th. Like I said, Michael Wagner was back to produce. It was certified platinum by the end of July, back when people actually had to put on shoes and actually walk to the record store. Or drive, you know what I mean. So that's a pretty big accomplishment. It was also the first record to debut at number 1 on the chart, largely because SoundScan was recently introduced, which took out the, basically the snobbish record store owners we are not going to say Kiss sold more records than Springsteen. As much as you want to always stick to the money thing, there was a ton of that. I hate metal. I hate Twisted Sister. This shit sucks. And I'm not going to say Cyndi Lauper sold fewer copies than Rat. And so I guarantee there was a bunch of records during the 80s from the scene that would have debuted at number 1. Metal Health did actually eventually get there,
right.
But not as a debut. And if you bought this at Walmart, you kind of touched on this. You got the censored version with the song Beggar's Day in place of the vulgar track, Get the Fuck Out. I'm a guy who respects and appreciates the artist's vision. So today we are focusing on the original uncensored, non-PMRC friendly version, which includes Get the Fuck Out. But before we do, I know you have some thoughts on the song Beggar's Day. So let's just get that out of the way, Elsie. Beggar's Day.
Sure. I think that total in my entire life, I've heard this song maybe 20 times. I never had that version. So I maybe heard it later on. And
I swear you told me you prefer Beggar's Day.
Not me.
Right?
I've done,
Okay.
but I
Maybe I'm thinking of Wilson.
Eh.
You guys look alike.
So it's okay. Well, friend of the show, Rob, he is a huge fan of that song, and I can tell you what kills the song is I definitely think. Well, anyway, decent.
Yeah, go for it.
verse,
Yeah.
Decent
Look,
verse.
I don't even know the song,
guitar.
so keep going.
You
I
don't
mean,
know it at all. Okay.
I've probably heard it, but I don't have any memory of it all.
Here's it is. Beggar's Day sounds like kind of the first draft of Monkey Business or Sweet Little Sister, where they're just spinning out stuff like that kind of stuff, like crazy. Whoever the main lyricist is, let's just call it Rachel. And then the thing that kills it is all the way, and it just slows down.
Okay.
The Beggar's Day. I don't even know what a Beggar's Day is. What is a Beggar's Day? Is that one of those other Canadian holidays that I'm unfamiliar with?
I might have very similar questions for you as we go track by track. I am, but yeah, I'm with you.
So, you know what? And I'll say that this album needs a little bit of fun. I don't care if it's irreverent and offensive these days, but that song kind of splits things up. So I say PMRC is the way we go, just like you've already said we're going to. So if I had to pick, I would pick this version.
Now, I was young enough, too, that this song actually opened my eyes to a world I didn't really realize that exists, that, like, so many women want to fuck you that you don't want them to hang around when you're done. You know, I mean, I did not really realize that, like, well, wait a second, we just had sex and I'm going to ask her to leave. What if we want to have sex again? You're like, nope, get the fuck out. You know, it's like, so, yeah.
I like the phrase. I remember Eddie Murphy, get the fuck out. It's my house.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So it's a great title. Like
I never made that connection. I like
big
that.
F-bomb, right? Like emblazoned on the back of the cover. You want to talk about the cover before you jump in this? Or
Yeah, you know what? Go ahead. This is a good enough spot as any,
cool.
you know. I'll just pull it up here.
We have now did you beautiful. So, you know,
Painted by Sebastian's father, something Björk. You remember his name?
his last name is Björk, so his first name is David. David.
David.
Yes. Yeah, he's very thrifty. This Sebastian Bach, just always grabbing. Ever since that, he just grabs his dad's, grabs a few, canvases, and here's my album's cover done.
Yeah, so just real quick, I will say this is kind of the album cover as you fold the whole thing out. I think this is actually just the gatefold, where the CD actually has another panel over on the right side there. And then I'll go back. This is basically what the front looks like, but yeah.
Can you do it full size? People can deal with not looking at us for a minute.
What do you mean? I mean, that's it fits top to bottom. Yeah, I can just
No, I meant like see the full gatefold. Put it back for a second.
Yeah, okay.
Like I always like this cover because there's a lot going on. I still say that I still thought immediately that was Trump in there, even back then.
Yeah, I did not. And I was reading it's a bunch of stuff in prep for today, and I think someone said it was like a Kennedy. Or you can't help but notice the resemblance.
Sure. But there's a lot going on here. I mean, and I always thought it was pretty amusing that the guy that's about to beat the living shit out of that guy is basically wearing a Depends diaper.
Yeah.
That looks like one of those, back in the day where you would those like one of those homemade diapers. Like he's got some great thighs, but Jesus, come on, man. Little use the old what is it, 9-inch shorts? It's a little too 1970s NBA, if you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying, yeah.
So, but I don't know. I like it. It kind of it definitely fits the tone of the album, and just society beating you down, the man. I don't know what else you want to comment on. With that one guy, he's definitely getting a good view. Like I don't see why else.
The one in the window?
Yeah.
I was trying to get a better picture of that behind my shoulder, but yeah, what's going on there? It's like it's like a
that house kind of sucks. It's like a wall
like there's
with no back.
Well, there was a tornado recently. You can kind of see the storm clouds settling in the background, on the horizon. Yeah,
I think I think this is all fake. This is like a set, one of those Hollywood sets that looks like the front of a house, and there's nothing behind it.
I'm guessing you didn't do very good in art class.
I guess not.
I don't know.
But yeah, there's some guy just like pounding a beer in the back. If you take a look.
Oh yeah. Yeah, chugging some stuff down there.
Yeah, she's like, "Fuck yeah!" It's the main.
Actually, this looks like a good time. Who's slaving to the grind here, by the way?
Oh man, I'm gonna say that I think the guys are slave to the grind because they are part of the system. They're just beating this guy down. Who knows what he did? That guy's got a big ass cell phone in the side, and the other guy looks like they have like the other guy's gonna like share his bread maker that's on the. What is that thing? It's like the world's largest toaster on the left near the guy.
Oh yeah.
There's a fucking sailor's there. He just got off the ship. He's like,
the guy with the phone is actually a guy from every '90s movie or TV that took place in the '80s.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
I gotcha. They had to draw him, and then another guy like all the way on the left. He's just a guy that's just trying to get to fucking work. He's all suited.
Yeah,
up.
he's like, can people like you just excuse me, I just need to. Can I just squeeze by?
And then somebody had an accident because there's just a random tire laying in the front. So anyway, there's a lot going on. I like it.
Hey, what are your thoughts on the band logo? I always thought it was kind of lame.
Yeah, and anytime they put it on something, like even Sebastian Bach kind of does the same thing. Like it'll be a piece of art, and he just puts the Sebastian Bach logo in the corner somewhere. Pretty
Like
generic.
it was fine on the first record, but it was like
Right.
you're gonna use this forever.
Yeah. It never
Anyway.
looked like they were doing much with it.
All right. Any more thoughts on the cover? I didn't even pull it down. That would.
No, I like that, and I like that they use the same motif with on the back when he uses the titles. I do like the titling of the tracks. How it looks like it's kind of like almost like the 10 Commandments, except there's 12.
Yeah.
Jesus can't count.
You know what? We need
Shovels
two
and
more.
everything.
We actually need two more commandments. There's a couple
Sure.
things missing, I think. So.
So overall, I think it looked great on CD, and even I did like as simple as it was, just saying, listen, this ain't just a Sebastian Bach show, bitch. Putting all 5 equal sizes on the CD part.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything
Cool.
else?
Not on the cover. There was a Doc McGee story I wanted to bring up. I don't know. Have you heard this before? Doc was talking about how Sebastian, somewhere between the recording of this album and the release of the first record, had told him, he's like, I need to be more involved in writing. I'm gonna get, I'm not gonna be pushed around anymore. I got things to say, and Doc's thoughts on that conversation, not words to Sebastian, like as he told it, thinking back to it, was like, you're gonna destroy this band, and then maybe that tells us what's going on there. I always thought that was kind of entertaining. Had you ever heard that story?
No, I have not.
He has more writing credit on this record, so
He's got like maybe 2.
yeah,
Two,
well, we'll get to
3.
that too, because I think it's more than 2.
Is it? Okay.
I thought it was like 4 or 5, but look, we're not there yet, so that's okay. I also saw that Sebastian said in an interview, I don't know, in the last 10 years, that while they were recording this record, kids started hanging out in the parking lot, and there was like 40 of them one day, so he bought them 5 pizzas. And I've been to a lot of pizza parties, especially at work. 5 pizzas ain't feeding 40 people.
Why even make the effort?
Yeah, it's like everybody gets half a slice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's low down. It's low down dirty shame, Sebastian, right there with his 5 pizzas. Here you go.
Well, you like talking about the tours here. Yeah, and they had Pantera open up for this. I couldn't confirm this. I kind of ran out of time because I think if I would have just been able to dig into setlist.com and get back to this one, I would have found out. Mm-hmm. My memory is Pantera, like this tour stretched into 92, I swear to God. And that's when Pantera came on, right around Vulgar being released. But everything that I read kind of made it seem like maybe I got that timetable wrong. I know Vulgar was released like in February of 92. I found that up today. So it could have been. What do you recall on this, or what can you confirm or deny for me?
I think that sounds about right, because if I remember that they used that, it all comes back to Kiss, right, people? That I think Kiss used the same director that they used for some of the Pantera video. For Unholy, they used the same director that did some of the Vulgar videos that came out earlier in 92, is my memory. And I do think that that tour was kind of like end of 91 to early 92, where it was them playing, like he always mentions when he comes to Denver, he'll say like, hey, I played the Gothic Theater with, can you imagine, Soundgarden and Pantera? Wow. You know what I mean? Like it was all together as one. What a great lineup, though. It makes sense.
Soundgarden played with Pantera on a show, you're saying? Like for Skid Row?
So Skid Row, it was all three on a tour together for a couple months.
Well, again, this is just research I did very recently. What I saw was that Pantera dropped out for about a handful of weeks, and Soundgarden did it, filled in for them. I didn't know there was ever a stretch where all three of them were together.
That's the impression I've had. Is it? But I'll go and confirm. That's
okay.
That's kind of what it was, because all
maybe somebody watching or listening to this actually went to it, and they can tell us
the
to stop being idiots. Yeah, but
I'm just, of course, consider the source. I'm taking it right from Sebastian. Every time he's come here, he always says, "We were here. It was Pantera, Soundgarden, and Skid Row headlining. What a time!"
Yeah, I'm going off a quote he had in an interview. He asked Chris Cornell, "Why'd you agree to do this?" And Cornell was like, "I don't know." And I got him.
That's right. Everybody was kind of, like that. It makes sense.
I mean, honestly, the idea of like going to see two singers like Cornell and Sebastian Bach would be very appealing to me in hindsight. So
yeah, and Soundgarden opened for the '91 leg of Use Your Illusion in Europe, because I remember him seeing that Paris show that Soundgarden was an opener, and I was kind of getting more familiar with them. So to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's where they learned how not to be on tour. No, I'm just kidding. I think it was Metallica. Well, I feel like I'm overly censored you with our earlier pre-show talk. I want to get into a little bit like on the change of direction these guys took musically, because the first record is very much your standard 80s hair metal fare, and great album too. It appears on a list, but it was also like, it's a drastic shift that I can't remember any other band from that time doing. Is probably a better way to put it, and it's a better fucking album. I mean, it's just I know it didn't sell as well, but it's not like it did poorly. But the scene was changing a little bit. But yeah, just they went fucking heavier and dirtier, and bands typically don't. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Well, yeah,
but they do not. You know what I mean? They always say like, our next album is gonna be the heaviest fucking shit you've ever heard. That sounds like the last one.
I always liked in the '80s. It would always be you get the heavy comment, or you get like, oh, we're going super bluesy this time. We're really leaning into the blues. It's like, and then it's like Dr. Feelgood.
That's right. Yeah, Rattlesnake Shake. It's like Howlin' Wolf. Anyway,
goddamn right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I'm gonna use a quote to kind of like go to the whole theme, and it's a quote from Rolling Stone. They interviewed Sebastian Bach, '91, and
now this is the one you were mentioning to me off mic, where it's a fairly famous cover where he's basically him shirtless on the front. Yeah,
it's him shirtless without the band, which I'm gonna tell you, I was in general like, who made that call? Was it a band decision? I don't think so.
I think it was Rolling Stone.
Probably. But I'm saying that's kind of like, oh, great. It's the article actually is Skid Row, but the only person you feature is this guy.
I know as someone who's been in bands, that would really bring the people together and like feel like we're all part of the same thing.
It's the same thing like Blackie Lawless.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, like Blackie Lawless, that's his motto. It's like, guys, it seems like you all want just me on the cover for the next one. That's the vibe I'm picking up. So.
Yeah, here's the deal.
Anyway.
You got to go to a photo shoot. You got to get makeup on. You sit around all day. Listen, here's a couple cards. You get a couple free beers. I'll do the work. Don't worry.
All right, but I stepped on you there. You got some.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So it says anyway. So it's just going into the release. It says, call it definitive proof of the theory of hard rock relativity. While the members of Guns N' Roses were busy making all the headlines this summer, '91. Their similarly rowdy tour mates in Skid Row were coming off like angels in comparison, and they were selling lots of albums along the way, more than 1.5 million copies of Slave the Grind as of this publication. With its new album, Skid Row has become a band of hard rock heroes worth taking seriously. Heavier and more ambitious than the band's quadruple platinum '89 debut, the new album entered the Billboard chart at number 1. We already mentioned this, but a remarkable feat for a solid piece of grunge rock. That's interesting. That makes few concessions to the power ballad-hungry marketplace of the early 90s. The album confidently establishes Skid Row as more than just a slick metal act like Poison or Winger, a false impression that the more user-friendly debut may have helped create. The second time around, Skid Row has served up a wonderfully rude announcement that this is a band that's in it for the long run. Guess not. Later. Kind of.
Hey, they're still around.
That's true.
Yeah.
But for once in Rolling Stone, I mostly agree on this. Like they actually did come back. The album is kind of just rude, in your face.
That is very interesting hearing you read that, knowing that it's Rolling Stone, because of the reputation, especially back when they were doing only print only, because their online stuff nowadays is just basically like, it's mishmash. But, they'll basically praise anybody is all I'm getting at. But yeah, back then it was pretty rare.
Yeah. I mean, back then you had Adrenalized by Def Leppard getting 4.5 stars. Just so you understand, people, 4 is excellent. That's a half star close to a masterpiece, is how they put it. Adrenalize.
Yeah, Adrenalize not on the list. Oh, I think probably because of the time.
Yeah. 92.
Oh man, I lost my train of thought there. I was just so engrossed in what you were saying. I can't remember what I was going to go to next.
Yeah, so it was a great read that I did off a piece of paper. I come prepared, man.
Hey, man, that was good. That was good fucking stuff. Yeah. So I wonder, go to the cover of the magazine. That probably did have to grind on them, the other guys in the band, a little bit. Also knowing, Sebastian's personality, can be a little bit much to handle. I think 24/7, and also I think, he came in on the first record and basically everything was written except for those the 1-2. Baby, fuck you, line in the Better Off Dead. But Rachel and Snake being the principal, songwriters, it's not easy to just all of a sudden all right, everybody, let's hear all your ideas.
Sure.
Frankly, most bands, they don't have any, so you kind of keep going with what works, and until somebody brings something in. But it had to be weird having this kind of dynamic, but at the same time, they had to kind of understand too. He was the eye candy of the band for sure. He's the front man. He's going to get all the attention, and it just is kind of part of the deal. So I would hope that they didn't feel too bad for themselves. But yeah, it's never fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody that's not us, if you ask somebody to name somebody in Skid Row, you're going to be hard pressed with somebody pulling out Rachel Bolan, Snake, fucking a Fuso. Fuso ain't in the conversation, Scotty Hill.
Fuso. I love Scotty. He's a great follow on Instagram. I'll tell you this though, you've just offended everybody listening or watching this, because I guarantee everybody listening or watching this can probably name all the guys. But
yes.
But not your point.
I
concede your point in my head, but yeah, I also want to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you guys too, because you matter to us.
Yeah, and let's just take that back for a sec. I'm going to walk that back like a politician, and that is that these guys, though, you couldn't have made this album without. This is a perfect blend of everybody contributing exactly what they needed to make a slab of rocking fucking roll. There's not a single person that I would move around like you talk about the twin guitar attack for the rhythm. I mean, that is something that I started in the last couple of weeks just listening to more left and right ear. You know what I mean? I don't know who's in which, but just some.
But you kind of hear it. I mean, it's not that Judas Priest thing where they're playing the same thing rhythm wise. I always thought it was closer to Pearl Jam as far as a comparison, even though they were technically first for me. But especially this record is when they kind of took it next level, where they're really playing some really cool kind of rhythms off of each other. All right, I'm ready to get into the album, go track by track, but I wanted to make sure you hadn't blown your wad yet. Is there anything else you wanted to get into? We got time.
Let's take a look. No, I think we're ready to roll, man. I hit my anticipation and everything, and that is. Let's get to June 11th, 1991. Were you a first day buyer, or you were not? Sound like
no, I already covered that. I got mine. Yeah,
that's right.
I was a first day listener. I was with Wilson. Well, I had an idea. I don't know if you're game for it, but do you want to try to do a little sing along?
Sure.
You think you know how to start out this record?
Let's do it.
No, you're gonna sing. I'm gonna play.
Okay, excellent.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
He's getting the lyrics, people. You ready?
Yep. Outside my window, there's a whole lot of trouble coming. The cartoon killers and the rag color, whatever he says.
Clones.
Oh my God, this print is small. Stack heels kicking rhythm of social circumcision. Can't close the closet on a school box full of bows. And then the greatest song of all time. Wow. I mean, that scream.
Oh yeah, you kidding me? Yeah. So yeah, for people watching the video, we will actually drop in some actual audio of the song. But
good, man. On your end.
thanks, buddy. I fuck around with this stuff all the time when I do editing. So I thought, this might be a good chance to let LC get involved. And frankly, this StreamYard delay ain't too bad. That was pretty good. Pretty good, buddy. Fucking Monkey Business kicks it off.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's all these screams in rock and roll. The Who, Welcome to Jungle, whatever you want to do. But this scream he does, and just that, it just tells you exactly what you're about to get into. And it amuses me, and not just this song, but many is when I heard this for the first time. I thought, well, not then, but knowing Sebastian Bach now, was he had to be like, I'm sorry, what are the lyrics I'm supposed to sing here? Because last time he was given lyrics, it was like, here I am, turn around and I'll turn into Superman. Whatever it was. They're a little more simple. I mean, these are jam-packed.
A ballerina on a subway train.
Yeah.
Like Valentino with the hanger. He's like, kangaroo something on a bamboo couch.
Yeah, bamboo couch, collecting back her favors because her well is running dry. Slim intoxicado drinking dime store hooch. This is the thing about Monkey Business, is that to me, this is kind of the whole thing. I can hear this song a billion times and I fucking love it. But just like Shot the Devil, I have to look at the lyrics to find out. I miss half the lyrics of what he's doing. You know what I mean?
That moves pretty quick. Yeah,
moves pretty quick.
Right about now, are you thinking, why did I think I could read the album, the lyrics better off the album sleeve versus the CD?
They don't. I mean, if you have all the space, use it.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
But I will tell
We're
you
getting
one
old.
that I completely did not know. I probably knew it back then, but I'd forgotten about it. I always thought it was the Freaks Come Out at Night. Like,
I thought so too. What is it?
It's interesting. It's the Freaks Come Out at 9, and it's 20 to 10. Which I read that and I'm like, oh man, I thought it was Freaks Come Out at 9.
That works pretty good.
But I'm like, if the Freaks Come Out at 9 and it's 20 to 10, is that saying that the Freaks come out at 9 and it's late and they've showed up at 9:40, or are they saying that
they're already
come
out
at 9 and there's a fucking ton and it's close to 10, so there's even more freaks than you would think of? It's a lot of numbers.
I'm going with that one. Yeah, they're basically saying the freaks are out.
Yeah,
but that wasn't long enough. How can we stretch that phonetically into 2 sentences?
Yeah, I know there's some weird wordplay, but I've never fully understood the point of the song. Like Monkey Business, I always thought, like, oh, this song's gonna suck when I first heard the name of it. Monkey Business. I'm like, what were some working titles? Did you have Boondoggle or Skullduggery? Maybe that was a version. What's another one? What other ones do you think were on the
I think it was Monkey Business.
Shenanigans. I mean, but then he talks monkey on his back, but he's talking about Monkey Business. Monkey Business is just fucking around. There's like kids, like a whole chain of nurseries and stuff. It's called Monkey Business. Like, what do you think it's about?
This might be lyrically the dumbest song on the record. We'll get there, but it is such a fucking slammer.
It is a slammer, but like talks about monkey on his back, but he's doing monkey business. He's slipping on the track. I don't know, the Vaseline gypsies and silicone souls dressed to the society. Is there a druggie that's mostly known for? I mean, who's the main lyric writer? Is it just Bolin and Snake together? Or
Man, I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Because the only through line on this one is Sweet Little Sister is kind of this closest thing to this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like that kind of.
Sure. Well, Snake hung out with Bon Jovi a lot, and this kind of reminds me of basically the lyrics to, Living on a Prayer. So.
I don't think so, but okay.
All right.
Okay, that's my thoughts on Monkey Business. Is that it's just a silly chorus that you have to sing. If you think about it, it's like one of those songs that's tricked us all to say, "Slip it in," or "Lick it up," or whatever. You're just screaming it. Fucking love it. It's in Monkey Business.
Damn right. It's a great fucking tune. From a guitar end, I love, this song is a perfect example of what I think Snake is a master of. I'm going to give him credit because he's the guitarist of the two songwriters. Maybe it's a Rachel thing, maybe it's equal parts, I don't know. But it's the illusion of complexity. I was like, this seemed out of my league at the time when this came out. I was like, listen what the fucking balls out that is. It's kind of like the opposite of listening to a Poison song, which is like, wow, that sounds easy to play. This sounds really hard to play, but it's not. It's a lot of double stops for people who know what that means. I'm not going to do guitar nerd stuff here, but I was probably like mid 90s when a buddy of mine fucking played a little bit what I was just playing. I was like, wait, what? I can do that. Yeah, I thought there was this whole kind of like finger like whatever, but no, it was and they do it a lot, and they're great at it. But it sounds like they're doing a lot more than they are, and I think it's kind of how him and Scotty work together. But this song is a good example of that.
Yeah,
written by Dave and Snake. By the way,
okay.
or Dave and Snake. Sorry, Snake and Rachel.
Yeah. Dave and Snake are the same person, man.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, up next we have Sebastian Bach's first songwriting credit, the title track, Slave to the Grind.
Yeah. And I'm not sure the first time I heard this, it might have been the great Michael Wagner interview on Decibel Geek where they break down this album with the producer. And I believe he tells the story then that this, still I remember hearing this, and it sounded so raw. Mm-hmm. And that the bass that Rachel's playing too is just like fucking dirty when it's got, and then I find out that this was the actual demo. This is the only song that actually was the demo, and it kind of, if you listen for it, it definitely sounds like that kind of level that they tried to recreate the chaos and the intensity, and they just, you always hear that kind of stuff. We just couldn't redo the demo, but on this end, fuck it. I think it was a good decision because it just sounds off the wall, and just. I don't know. This is a 1-2 punch. It's a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I mean this album. I mean it doesn't let up, for sure. And you talk about a great vocal track, man. Yeah, it was a very unsurprising thing to find out that this was basically just the original demo. I'm more surprised in the fact that it said that they basically recorded it live, other than the vocals and the solo. But that's actually the mix from that time too. He didn't fuck with the mix at all. So that's, I mean, fucking A, man. And yeah, it's definitely muddier sounding than most of the record. That's not, it doesn't sound muddy, but I mean, like you were saying, it's just like, yeah, I guess I can believe it. This one actually sounds really fucking raw.
And I don't think I've ever seen Skid Row or Sebastian not open any of their shows without starting with this. It's like the perfect opening live song too. And to that end, even when he did in 2021, when he did the celebration of this album live, he started with this instead of Monkey Business. Kind of rearranged it, used that for an encore. So it'll get the party started, man. And this is one of two that I think that kind of, if you want to say that this is kind of the concept or the I don't know, the overall theme of the album is this track. Kind of just like, fuck, man. When I heard that, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be slave to the grind. I'm a Ponderosa filling these goddamn,
Yeah.
peaches
Yeah,
and
so the whole thing, like, what is the concept here, basically? Because you can't be king of the world if you slave to the grind. It's basically just saying, you don't be a sucker, don't work at
yeah,
Ponderosa,
right.
get a job at fucking what was the car rental place you worked with?
Yeah, Enterprise. Yeah, go to
Enterprise.
Rental
Yeah,
Car. Then you're king of the world.
yeah, right. Look at you now.
Yeah, look at me. I'm in a closet. But like,
You're the people under the stairs. Oh, there's not a stairwell over you, is there?
that would be perfect, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I wish so.
It's like the Harry Potter room.
Yeah.
My parents hate me. They put me here.
Nice.
Little, but yeah, it was pretty much, it kind of said to a young man, forge your own path, go west. But they decide to say, can't be king of the world if you're slave to the grind, man.
It's
Working
a
for
badass
man.
tune.
It is, and that leads us to the next one.
Yeah, this one was probably Monkey Business is the banger on the record. You know what I mean? It just gets you. It's catchy. It's the one that you basically, if you don't like that song, you probably don't like this album. But
Right.
this was the first song that I think really popped for me as far as like, wow, that's to go back and listen to. And I'm talking about the third track, The Threat.
Yeah, the little clip of, I think you play "Still of the Night" for Toomey's.
Mm-hmm.
What is the whole thing? It's like
With his dad. I always like made the joke that Toomey's dad was just this cool guy,
Yeah.
no sleeves, washing his Camaro while chicks look hot, and he's just cranking the White Snake. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, this would be, if I wanted like a walk-on music to anything, this is perfect. That fucking riff, and then the part that's punctuated with, I don't even know what kind of drums or percussion it is. Like the way it sounds, like it almost sounds like he's hitting metal drums or whatnot. I love this track. This is like Slave to the Grind Part 2 almost, because it's saying, basically same thing. Be king of the world. You can't be a slave to the grind. This one's saying once you've made your mark on society, you're a threat. If you're not just like doing the same goddamn thing. And the way that he says the threat multiple ways.
Yeah.
This is a vocal powerhouse like track for Sebastian too, where like the last 30 seconds he's saying the threat differently. He's just like the threat. Like it's just everything about this. The solo. This is probably one of my favorite solos on it too. Like I'm not a big Skid Row solo. Like they're good. But
They're all good, but they're
good,
not
but this
really.
is one that stands out going into the end, and transition to the end of the song.
Yeah, I like I said, I was probably just going to agree with most of your takes on this. This is really a great example of that dual rhythm guitar thing that I like about these guys. It is a great left and right ear experience. So yeah, just love it.
More than the breaking the law to make me smile pretty for the wrecking ball. I always like that line. Too.
Yeah, goddamn right, man. Yeah. All right. Well, up next is the fourth track. I fucking adore this song, "Quicksand Jesus."
Yeah, I have to say that as a 17-year-old, I was not the biggest fan of this. Just like anything. Wait, they're slowing it down. I don't know about this, but this is a perfect build song from the acoustic guitar or what have you, the clean guitar, whatever you want to call it in the beginning. But then underneath it, you have Bolan playing this really cool like bass line that has nothing to do with. It's just like one of those. He's not just playing like a normal kind of bass line in the back end, and I just think that really stands out. Just the whole intro, and I never, I guess it's maybe, I'm gonna throw it to you. What do you think the song is about? What's your?
Oh, topically? Yeah. Shit. This wasn't on Song Facts. I never really thought about it. Well, to me, this one really is more about how it emotes and connects with me. I really love the build up to like how long it takes to get to the part where it's quicksand, Jesus, I'm so far away, and then when you do, it's like fuck. And also being like a lifelong Lutheran, I just enjoyed the connotation of Jesus. But yeah, I think the song is clearly to me about like basically a religion being something that organized religion being something that kind of pulls you down and holds you back.
Yeah.
You're a threat, and you're a slave to the grind, and now you're fucking quicksand Jesus is fucking everything up for you.
Yeah. The first title of this was Slippery Slope Jesus. That's kind of what it's saying, is that faith is a slippery slope, and, you can get, you can bury yourself in if you think too much. But a lot of it is a lot of that same stuff where it's just a bunch of kick-ass lyrics thrown together. I mean, a lot of this is kind of, I think what's so interesting about this album versus the first one is it's almost like somebody went to poetry class. Because it's these lyrics are like everything. They're almost like Kurt Cobain type of lyrics that say nothing but say everything at the same time, and we're talking about like I don't know. That's a maze of tangled grace, the symptoms for real or counting. It's one of those things too, again, that I can hear it. And like you're saying, the emotion of the song and the musicality of it is great. But if you dig into it, you try to read these, it's just, it's cool gibberish. It's well-written gibberish, kind of.
And you can't really undersell how good Sebastian is at this point. You know what I mean? He's just...
This should be a test if you can be in the band. Not if they, this is not like a big song that they play live all the time, but like this hits all the highs, lows.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of his, to get through it. So
I like the ballads. This is actually a fairly ballad-heavy record when you think about it, because we all think about how fucking heavy this is. These are my kind of ballads, where it's just more kind of like this, minor chord kind of stuff, kind of dragging you into kind of a darker thing. It's not Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by any means.
Right, and also I say that we're 4 songs in, and like the color and the shape of this album is great so far. It's got this in there. And also, this is not a typical, the chorus doesn't come in until the last, like you.
That was what I was saying. That whole build-up is just, it's amazing, and it's perfect.
Yeah. So it's good that they're switching it up that way, too, I think. And I think, by the way, so far, Michael Wagner, if it was his choice, he's sequenced this album perfectly thus far, I think.
And it feels like it was sequenced with vinyl not in mind at all. This album is a combination of cassette and CD. It's just... I don't know.
You think so? I kind of feel it's a good 6 and 6. How it goes.
I do. I mean that factors in. But if you're factoring in vinyl, you're probably going, we probably need to keep it at 5 or less, guys. These aren't the shortest songs in the world.
Oh, I gotcha.
We probably don't want to get the fuck out at all. So anyway.
Okay.
Well, next up, then we have Psycho Love.
This is the first song that I like. This song, but I think it actually disturbed me when I was younger. Where it is so. And I'm not even talking about the lyrics, which we'll touch on in a second. I'm talking about this song shouldn't work. It starts with, it's got that line. And then it just builds, and it's kind of all over the place. It kind of is like that almost Alice in Chainsy, kind of like where it's getting into, trying to think of which one.
Great bass line by Rachel.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's killer. And they're like, listen, y'all got to have a song about fucking on this album. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be at least one song that's about sex, and this is like, bondage and all this. And then in that same article that I was referring to, Rachel says it's about somebody that actually kills their John, a hooker that kills her John after they have sex or right before or something like that. There's actually murder going on in this.
A Black Widow.
Yes, there you go.
Mates and Kills.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they wanted to call this the song Black Widow.
So it kind of feels like it's.
I'm stepping on your territory there.
No.
Yeah.
I think that Alice Cooper already had it, man. But it's curling out of control. Then it finally hits that middle part. It kind of settles down on that bridge.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I have no idea what he's saying during that part. He's
because you can't read it.
No, so
it's like medical fucking description.
this is the fine print that tells me this is like a terms of service font.
Yeah, it's like fucking A, man. What does this say? It's diarrhea.
It is. Like when it says "haunt my house of pain and feel my psycho love." So I'm like, is that some respect to Van Halen? Maybe, whatever. Maybe.
Probably not.
Okay.
House of Pain is a pretty generic term like Black Widow.
How about King Tut and the Snake-Eyed Slut?
Yeah, the Snake Eyed Slut. Yeah.
Oh, wait, in the pink, but screaming.
Hey, wait a second. Are these just all sex moves? Like where does Lee McCormick live again?
Yeah, maybe. Hey, you want
What's that called?
The King Tut.
No. What? I literally asked you a question.
A Sakwa or a Tika?
No, where's
Tika?
the something snowshoe? The Pickerton or?
Oh yeah, there's definitely Pickerton in there.
I can't remember what. I'm sorry. I apologize, Lee. I forgot. But yeah, we came up with a sex act named after him for the town he lived in. But so these are all like the King Tut and the One-Eyed Slut is like a some. It's like where it's like you kind of you do kind of a move like this and then you spooge in her eye.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, that's not too bad. Doing the tut. Yeah, sexy. But I just want to read this, make sure you're hearing this clean, because I've never heard this before today or understood it. In the pink, but screaming blue. Mic drop. That's
yeah, damn right.
You would have thought that was Sebastian's contribution, but it was not.
No, the song entirely written by Rachel.
Yes.
Credited.
What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, you know what? Probably the first part of the record where it feels like, no, I can get up and go get a glass of milk or something.
Sure.
This is all right.
Milk break. This makes me feel really. I'm feeling dairy right now.
You may go to the bathroom, whatever. Make some toast.
I'm surprised they played this live. Like when I was reading those off. Like this has been one of those tracks it's good but not great, and it just sounds like it's going to go off the rails at any minute, and it shouldn't work. That's what I'm just trying to summarize.
I agree. Yeah. No. Look. There's not a song on here I don't like. I'll just get that out of the way. So when I say something like isn't my favorite, that's not me saying it's bad, because honestly, I want, like, I'm with you. It's perfectly sequenced. When I listen to this record, the only song on here really that I've ever really cherry picked is Monkey Business as far as making a playlist. Other than that, I listen to the whole thing, and it's great. So yeah, I love that fucking bass line. I think that cool kind of clean guitar part at the beginning while that's going on is neat. And then just basically ditto to everything you said. Yeah, fuck it, it's great.
I've always wanted to say that I can't read. I'm just another ghost, Baco, inside your spirit Hall of Fame. Another lyric I've never heard. It's in there.
Well, that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
All right, and then probably what should have been the lead single is the side one, Clothes Up. Side one of your cassette ends with Get the Fuck Out, which we covered a little bit on. So what do you got here?
Man, first time I heard this, I was like, yeah, man, that's right. You get the fuck out. And
bitch.
Now, Sebastian, because he's super clever, when he's doing the Slave to the Grind tribute, when he did it, I should say, when he kind of resequences the album in parts, and he moves Get the Fuck Out to the end, so he's telling you to get the fuck out of the concert. That's where he puts it.
Okay, that's funny.
He also doesn't play the whole song. He doesn't play the second verse. Out of respect to the ladies, he says now. So he actually, he doesn't say the whole thing about lips around his attitude and I puke, I stink, bitch, get me a drink because I'm paying for the room. I mean, this guy, listen, also a little piece of gold from this article. He's talking about that song, and he says, you should come to understand that Skid Row is a group that's not above criticism, both from itself and others. In introducing the controversial groupie bashing number, Get the Fuck Out, Bach said, this is a song about someone like me, someone who comes over to your house and ends up fucking puking on your carpet and pissing on your dog. What a classy guy. So
yeah, well, I think he's trying to make it, like take the blow for the actual target here. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think this song was originally titled "AIDS Kills, Dad's Dead," which I was like,
Grandpa's. That's what I was going to bring up. Is that like he wants to be so respectful to women, but he got in a lot of hot water for that AIDS kills Grandma's dead. Mm-hmm. And I loved his like, yeah, I guess that was wrong because I got a grandma, and if she was dead, I might find that offensive. Like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy's a man child. Still is.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that day though. Let's go back to Sebastian on that. Is that you have a stack of T-shirts. You see that one there? You're like, this is the one I'm going to wear in front of 15,000 people today.
I'm probably the wrong guy to have that conversation with, but
That's true. What do you think they said when he showed up on stage with that? They go like, "Can you just go back and change that a little?" Or just come on out. That looks great.
man, I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I don't know that people thought about it too much at all and didn't think it would blow up as much as it did. Probably, things were, believe it or not, weren't quite as sensitive at that time. So
Nope.
maybe we would go with the song's called "Get the Fuck Out" that we're talking about. So
You can wear that shirt now. It's not as offensive because it should end with ... I guess not, because you can just it doesn't do it anymore. Right?
Right.
It's an obsolete shirt.
all right. Well, the side two then, or the seventh track on your CD. Another one that probably isn't among my favorites. Still a pretty good song, "Living on a Chain Gang."
Yeah, this is the one that I think back in the day I liked, but I do love this song now. But I can tell that it definitely has that first album feel to it a bit, where it's like more hooky. But again, it's kind of the same thing. This is the prequel to "Slave to the Grind," the song, because at this point he's living on a chain gang, man, right? He's just doing his thing, and then finally he's like, "I've had enough. I'm out." So if it was sequenced differently, it would tell a nice story.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like it. It definitely has the hooks, and I should say too that I think that as much shit as, just to go back one song, just to complete it, because I didn't, is that song I think is necessary for this album, to a point where there's a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
even though it's all over the place, it's kind of like, okay, here's a more upbeat, random song to kind of.
And as
break
silly
this
as
up.
it is, it's better than shit like "Wasted Rock Ranger" or even "Babylon" by Faster Pussycat. It's an actual song. Where it's just oh, look at us just being fun in the studio. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Yeah, but so this is kind of the I like the intro too, where it's just basically him doing a cappella essentially with a little guitar. I guess not a cappella. What do you call it? Where it's just very minimal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost
Capella
all
means no
vocals.
instruments.
I know, but that's very minimal.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a nice little clean intro. Yeah.
What do you call it?
A
It's not
cappella
acapella.
guitar.
How about How about just How about
I think it's called guitar.
Not much stuff going on there.
A
Clean vocal.
little accompaniment, I guess. I don't know. All right.
It's another banger for me. I don't have much else to say about that.
All right. Well, on the next track, what do you think Rob Affuso's contributions to the songwriting were for Creep Show?
Well, Sweet Little Sister gets around because she's in this song again.
By the way,
She name drop.
not dead Rob Affuso.
Yeah, what's going on with that guy?
Yeah. Staying loose, getting ready for the reunion call.
Okay. Oh, just in general too to talk about, because like we keep talking about Sebastian and the vocals and everything like that. I think the drumming is the same perfect drumming for the album that Steven Adler is for Appetite for Destruction. If I'm saying it just fits the song perfectly. Also, the only thing I'll say is he brings out the cowbell for a very effective use in Monkey Business. I think in Get the Fuck Out. And I think this song, it's in 3 songs, the cowbell. That is more than you would think. So I think it
A lot of cowbell.
So I'm saying, like, I think the cowbell is in here a little bit. This song
Tasty.
is a song also kind of like Psycho Love that shouldn't work. And what I mean by that is that it has part of the guitar sounds kind of like almost Red Hot Chili Pepper, Mother's Milk era. That it's kind of like a little
funky.
But then
Yeah.
it switches back to their thing. But again, it's one of these. This is not one of my favorites on it. I've grown to love it actually more over time than back in the day, because it's just more fucking around a little bit. I think of Jerry Springer and Phil Donahue and talk shows like that, and he's getting some shit thrown at him, and no, it works pretty good for me.
I dig it, but I think if as a standalone track, I'm not terribly fond of it. But when listening to the record, I want to hear it next. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah. And let me think of any specific lyrics you want to call out here.
I'll tell you right now, we can get that out of the way. I don't have any specific lyrics set up. So
Crack kills and blood spills, baby, but psychos, dykes, and transvestites are on the chopping block. I like that.
They were singing.
They were singing.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, then like Creep Show, I immediately think of the movie Creep Show, too. So I thought maybe it would be that way. Kind of like Anthrax. They like some Stephen King movies, so they write a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. But no, it was about talk shows.
Yeah, all right. It is kind of cool. The way Rachel, I think he does a really good job as someone who's a fan of punk. And you know how snobbish I am, real punk. I think he does a really good job of bringing some of those elements into, like, you know, basically not punk. You know, I know one of the things for me that when I listen to all these different kinds of music, I see the similarities between a band like the Misfits and fucking Poison, you know what I mean? Where it seems like most people go, they're just so opposite, you know, and I think Rachel does a really good job of balancing that. And this is a great song to kind of point that out.
Plus, like, re-listening to this track this week, I could hear about the 3-minute mark that nose chain of his, like, hitting the mic, like part of the rhythm, part of the percussion. So I think he's the first guy with the nose ring, definitely the chain. But you didn't see nose rings too much in 89, 90.
Yeah, that's still disturbing.
Sure.
All right, then we get
Grandpa.
we get into another fucking killer ballad, In a Darkened Room. Another co-write by Bach. I think we're only at 2 though, so you're probably closer than I am.
This is my first pass. This is the only. If I was going to redo this album, actually, I would bring it down to 10 tracks. And I'll tell you that in a minute. This is one that I would absolutely not replace. Like, I'd shuffle this around. And for me, In the Darkened Room sounds like, every time I hear it, it sounds like the first draft of Quicksand Jesus. In fact, there's multiple times I think it's about to build to that. And I'm shocked it's a single. It's a fine song in general, is what I mean by that. I'm not saying it's not particularly a bad song. There's just nothing that's really hooky to it.
Oh, that's so wrong.
And to me, it's just I don't know, just makes me feel like, I think instead of In a Darkened Room, it's just in a room watching paint dry.
It is literally opens with a hook, that solo of the opening melody line. Well, then you should like the whole song, because that's the melody line that basically kicks into. I could not disagree. I had no idea. I don't think we can be friends anymore. This is kind of a deal breaker. You might as well just told me you root for the Packers. I don't even know where to go from this.
I didn't know we were going to go this deep on this.
I love In a Darkened Room, man. It's one of my favorite tracks on here. And yeah, fuck you. Anyway.
Okay. Anything more on that?
No.
Also, I took a piss during this when he played it live.
Okay, well, it turns out you don't like it, so it seems like a good time to do it. So, yeah.
What I think is, it goes Creep Show, and then it goes right into Riot Act.
Okay, you kind of stepped on me there, because I was gonna go like, I'm looking at the last 3 songs. You said you could take 2 tracks out, so that gets rid of Riot Act, and well, let's just go into Riot Act. What do you got here?
Sure. You know, I know this is, I think when he actually does this live, he throws in I Want to Be Sedated, or another Ramones song. Because this is his Ramones song. And I'm actually kind of, like, I think he plays Psychotherapy all the time live. I think he plays some Ramones song, where Rachel, I think, does.
I think that's the right one, yeah.
Vocals. But, like, why not just play Riot Act? Same fucking song. I like this. I've always dug it. It also is nice change of pace on the album. Super simple, but again, it's the same thing for me. Hearing that at 17, like, fuck you. I want to hear what you have to say, teacher. Reading me this shit. Tell me what I gotta do.
Yeah, yeah. It's a fun tune. I would rather hear this than the Ramones cover. I think that's kind of lazy.
Sure.
For as much as I just gave him some punk cred, I think his Ramones covers are. I think they're kind of, I don't know, predictable. I don't know, but whatever. A Riot Act, yeah. But to that point, one of my lesser favorite tunes on here.
Let's see that. Now, I have to say, though, that don't tell me it's raining when you're pissing down my back. I like that lyric, too. So
yeah.
It's the worst. You ever feel it rain and somebody's text that's just whizzing on you?
What, isn't that also in that Aerosmith song, My Fist Your Face? Oh, that's Pissing in the Wind. Pissing in the Wind, sorry. All right. kind of has the same effect, except for it's just you pissing on yourself instead of someone pissing on your leg. So,
Yeah.
second grade, Jill Knipple puked on my leg as we were leaving gym.
I thought we were doing anecdotes for this.
Hey, you squeezed a bunch in. That's all I got.
Right.
Yeah. All right. The next track has got to be the one you're going to take off here, Mud Kicker.
Yep. I often. Oh, that's what it is. I often get this one confused and think it's named Mud Shuffle for one thing because 2 tracks earlier. That's the part. Yeah. This is grungy as fuck. But to go back to the other one, Creep Show. What do you think about the lyric though of "Hit me with a shovel"? Because I can't believe that you dug me. That's a little.
That's a great lyric.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it's a little pushy.
Hit me with a shovel because I can't believe that I dug you.
I dug you. That's it. Hit me
Yeah.
with a shovel. Can't believe I dug you. Okay.
Before the
so
comments
I think
fill
of
up.
that,
So.
then I think of mud and shovels. This is, what is the song on his new album that you say sounds like dun 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 dun? You were mentioning that was a throwback to it. And that sounded similar.
I happen to be sitting next to my CDs. Let's see if
Yes.
You know what? I don't remember. Yeah, it's just I know I'm
mentioning that.
Yeah.
That's when he played. I remember Sebastian himself saying like, when you play an album in full, sometimes and I think he wrote this too, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah, he's got his third songwriting credit here.
He said, "I don't even like performing this song. It's kind of a dud." He's like, "But here it is, Mud Kicker." I'm like, "What kind of intro is that?" But I feel the same. I agree, Sebastian. It's all right. I could do it. Those are the two I would take off.
I like it, but unlike your other ridiculous idea of taking In a Darkened Room off here, I'd be okay. It probably really wouldn't hurt the record, but like I said, there isn't a song on here I don't like. And just going back to the anecdote thing, if you'd like to talk about and mention a girl you actually used to masturbate to in junior high or high school, let's hear it. Wally would really appreciate that.
Oh. Yeah, I can't think of a
Yeah,
name
okay.
right now. No, I'm serious. I'm so distanced from that because very few went to college too that were there.
Oh wait, you went to high school in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, slim pickings.
Yeah, it really is. I agree.
Not like the squish, you know what's on it.
Yeah, you're just stepping all over it, right?
All right. Well, I tried, Wally. By the way, stay tuned for the wait, no. See, I'm promoting the show that they've already heard. Never mind.
For me, it just brings back really rough memories for me because in '91 I was trying to serenade them with "Psycho Love" and it just wasn't working very well. So.
All right. Well, let's wrap up the record. It ends with "Wasted Time," another perfect ballad.
Yeah, this one. I was surprised that this was a single, and what I mean by that is I don't remember it ever being on the radio. In fact, did you know that Monkey Business didn't even crack the Hot 100?
We didn't get into any rankings. Actually, I'll say this: none of the singles were actually.
No.
This was not being played on the radio. But that, for me, the music I listened to was never really on the radio. You know what I mean? So I really had no. You were more likely to see something on Headbangers Ball or just MTV in general. But as far as like radio hits, no, I really didn't have too many in my collection at this point.
Love this song. And this is I was just surprised it was a single, and I don't even remember seeing the video. Is my point? Like they had 5 singles. This is one of them. And
it's possible they didn't make one. I know I've come across a bunch of that. You got to remember, like, although more common by this point than at the beginning of the '80s, but it was real common that like you would have 1, 2, maybe videos, but then you know unless you're like Bon Jovi or Def Leppard, they didn't get videos necessarily for every song.
Right. So. This last track is kind of not in theme, obviously, of Rocket Queen, but it's close to 6 minutes long. It has a nice outro where completely the song builds and completely changes. Similar to Quicksand Jesus, but for me, for an album closer, you couldn't have picked a better song. Just that whole thing about it. I don't know what I did, with the last lyrics that keeps going, is all just wasted time, but it just says over and over again. I thought, oh, never
Can you live
thought
with
I
yourself when you realize what you've left behind?
No, I never thought you'd get it.
Oh, right. Yeah, that part is
Get
awesome.
This far, boy, where it just goes for like a minute and a half, and that last little, where he's just slowly singing it, and that's how the album ends with a little bit of feedback. It's perfect. I think this one is about heroin, maybe, because it talks about kicking a horse or like.
Yeah, there's an internet rumor that it's directly about Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses, but the members of the band who wrote it have discounted that and said, no, this is just more about something they saw, and they wrote a song based on it. So, and the news, saw the news.
Yeah. I mean, again,
I've always said Rachel Bolan watches too much CNN. He needs to change the channel.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A lot of similar lyrics to Quicksand Jesus as far as that kind of deepness.
All three of the ballads have a lot of similarities to them, but I think they're all great.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those albums that when I hear that, I think it was also in that Decibel Geek interview or from other ones that they were talking about that Sebastian had to do multiple, like a lot of takes, like sometimes just recording a couple lines of the verse, and then he does his magic and patches it all together, which to me is shocking to me, because when I hear this, all this sounds he just nails it. Like I mean, he must have done like a ton of takes to put it together. But if that was true, that it was like, I guess maybe it was just hard to hit those certain things, and he just did it from a producing standpoint. It just sounds so natural. I'm just saying, like it doesn't.
You're talking specifically this song or the record?
This song and just in.
I don't recall hearing that, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. For the whole record, so it was just difficult for him, because I think part of it was just that he gave him a ton of words to say, packed in. It's
well, it seems like a problem if you're a singer like Vince Neil, not so much Sebastian Bach. So
yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised that. But I mean,
I don't recall that. Cool.
Yeah, but listen, I don't want to stop repeating myself. If I'm critical thought overall for this, do you want to go to overall thoughts, or do you want to keep talking about this?
Okay, now you're kind of shifting gears here. So that wraps up the album then. So the last song then is Wasted Time. And then, so like basically Skid Row's still out there doing it. We kind of know what's going on with them. There's always this like, will Sebastian rejoin the band every time they change singers? You and I have covered that ad nauseum. So let's just get it out there. We both don't think it's ever going to happen. No. You can go back and listen to other episodes of Decibel Geek, or Decibel Geek, them too, I suppose. Cobras and Fire, to get our more fleshed out thoughts on that. But I've been, kind of tying in, every episode talking about whatever record, giving people an idea where they're at now. So they're out there touring. You're going to see them on the Monsters of Rock cruise. You're going to see them at M3. You're going to see them at Grand Rock Timber, doing all the same old shit. And they're good. But right now they're in the process of finding someone other than Sebastian Bach to be the singer of the band. So, all right, well, getting into the rankings then. So this album did come in at number 9. It had an average ranking, a nice round number on this one. 22.5 was its average rank to get it at number 9. It had a high rank of number 2. A couple people had it at that point. A low rank of number 62. Yours truly had it at 11. Would you like... Well, you already guessed. LC, you were one of the at least 2 people that had it at number 2.
Nice.
So... yeah, I wasn't surprised that you had it that high. As much as I love it, you know what I mean? I was talking to somebody for the episode that's coming up next. Honestly, because the record we were talking about, I think I had it 23 or something like that, and it came in at number 8. So that'll be the next episode. People can't wait to hear who it is. But I talked about, like, well, really, honestly, once I got to, like, the top 30, we're talking every record is just one of my favorites for the most part. I haven't done an actual count. One of my future guests coming up, I sent him the list, and he was like, I own 95 of these on vinyl. So, of 100.
Okay, that's pretty amazing.
I think I might be able to get close to 80 on CD. I definitely don't have that many on vinyl.
Yeah, no, it's the thing about this album is that it's timeless. It's produced. It doesn't have any of those stamp of the times. I don't think really.
No, it doesn't. It's aged great.
Yeah, and
well done,
all
Michael Wagner.
aspects. Say again.
Well done, Michael Wagner.
Yeah, great job. In the whole band there, and it's just one of those, whatever they say, lightning in a bottle moments that you can never recapture. It's just, they had that build. You could see signs of maybe that they're going to take it next level, and they did. And then people really do shit on the Subhuman Race for good reason. It's not that good, but
no.
There's a couple of tracks on that one that I went back to when I was going down the Skid Row rabbit hole that I do enjoy on that one. But they can never really capture. They could come somewhat close to this in vibe, and I don't know, as a side conversation.
Well, I think their latest record, they kind of did a decent job of kind of getting that first album vibe. I don't know about this one, so
no, it's more that first album vibe. But yeah, it's just like one of those things. It's like I think that you always talk about the Mount Rushmore or the top the big four of.
I think I got it, by the way.
You want to do it?
Yeah. This is what after I've been balancing it, going through all this stuff. Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison.
I guess if you're saying the world, is that yours personal one, or is it?
I'm saying that if that's the closest you can come to a dead-on, like the whole argument problem is that like you can get one or two, and then it gets debatable. Whereas where you're talking thrash or grunge, it isn't unless you're a fucking super fan and an idiot and incapable of saying Overkill belongs on the. No, they don't. I'm sorry. It's fucking Anthrax, Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica, and then a big drop. And not in quality, not in like what you should like. I'm saying it's clear those are the big four: grunge, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. Would have missed there. This is a big one. Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and Soundgarden, yes. Yeah. But as much as I brain farted there. So it's difficult with this one, but I think that's as close as you can get. And I don't even...
Yeah, I mean, if your gauge also is... If you were to go to a Skid Row or Sebastian Bach show, past 3 or 4 songs, people really don't know them unless they are deeper try. I'm saying but a Poison show you can play for 45 minutes to an hour,
right?
And most people know, even though I'm not a big Poison fan, but you can.
Yeah, but you can go there and go, wow! I forgot how many shitty songs they have.
Everybody knows, right? Exactly.
God.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think that number 4 is like, do you put Poison? Do you put Rat there? And like.
Rat, Doc, and that's what I think. Poison. I think the fact that Poison is more relevant right now than any of those other bands, that's what did it for me.
Right, and on this one too, it's like Skid Row had 2 albums. That's what they had. It was 2 and done. It wasn't 1 and done. At least we got 2 out of them, for the most part.
And I listen to them still way more than any fucking Poison record. But I'm not an idiot. Right. Poison's impact on the scene was massive.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you got that the Mount Rushmore. I think the Poison one most people would like maybe put out of focus. Like if they're taking a picture, they crop them on mistake.
Yeah.
They're taking this family picture. Just get over towards the other 3, and then they take the picture.
Well, Elsie, you might be the only guest I have for these video episodes where I don't have to ask them to tell us where we can find you, because, of course, if anybody's paying attention to this show, they see the banner in the background. You and I, of course, have been doing probably the best podcast on the planet for 9 years now. We are 2 powerful and attractive men. So, yeah, go to cobrasandfire.com, and you can find everything you need to know about myself or LC that we want you to know anyway. So thank you for coming on and doing this in such a timely manner, too. You got here right on time. I expected at least a 10-minute delay based on our conversation. So
sure. Thanks,
buddy.
Yeah, I mean, if you notice that I've been doing that a lot lately. I always throw out I'll probably be 15 minutes late, then I'm on time. See, it helps out.
Well, it had me prepped for a little bit of delay that I didn't need. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for listening and chiming in. This has been a lot of fun. We're getting close. There's only 8 albums left after this one. But until next time, here is your moment of Lee.